Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone, looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hi, and welcome back. I'm your hostess, Cindy Murray, and we're so glad you're joining us again. If this is your first time joining us, then welcome, and I hope you enjoy. Stick around to the end. We've got some great stuff going on today. And if you're coming back, then welcome back again. And thanks for continuing to listen to us. I'm here with my hostesses, Kristen Hessler and Amber Garvin. Hello.
Hey.
And we're just kind of hanging out at my house recording. So if you hear weird noises, we've had to switch from our secret recording location. And we're kind of doing things at my house right now. And so there's sometimes a little bumps and things that go bump in the night here.
And dog barks.
And
horns.
Kids and husbands and nieces and doors and, you know, you name it. There's noise going on. So hopefully it won't be too distracting. But we've got some great stuff here today, and we're anxious to share it with you. So it's September. This, to me, is the start of camping weather. I love to camp in the fall. It's so cool, or it starts cooling off. You know, if you're in Texas, it's not that cool, but you know, but it gets cooler, and you know, the leaves are turning, and it's just so nice to be outdoors again after the heat of the summer. And I like to take the family or the dog and the husband camping. Sometimes we go with just the girls. But here in Texas, because we have such a problem with heat and drought, we often have burn bans. And, you know, this can happen anywhere in the country. That can be problematic when you're camping if you want to, you know, cook over a campfire or whatever. So recently I was looking up some ideas for a camping trip coming up, and I couldn't find any good recipes. I have some ideas because I used to be a Girl Scout leader and we had a lot of things, but I was looking for some new stuff to add to the repertoire. And when I looked online, all I could find was s'mores, cobbler. And, you know, there was a few things where they took some biscuits and fried them and things like that, but you know, I'm trying to think of things for that are minimal prep, or, you know, no heat, no fire, you know, whatever. And that was all I could find. So I thought I'd dig out some of my old ideas and share them with you guys, and see, you know, what Kristen and Amber might have in the way of things that we could do if we were going on a camping trip and couldn't have a fire. So I'll start off that conversation with one of my favorites. We are talking s'mores, but instead of cooking them on the campfire, if you want to make them without any heat at all, you can make a recipe that I found online, and it was called Muddy Buddy S'mores. And you basically take, if you've ever had the puppy chow mix or anything like that, where you take the cereal and you coat it with peanut butter or whatever, and then run it through the powdered sugar, or you could mix it up with chocolate, and then, you know, like melted chocolate chips or something like that, and then powdered sugar over the top of that. And then you throw in mini marshmallows and some chocolate chips, and you've got basically s'mores that you can put in a Ziploc bag and carry around with you while you're walking down the trail. And I thought that was a really great idea. You know, you just use those little Golden Grahams cereal, which tastes like a graham cracker, and that was a pretty good idea. I've done some other things too, and if you checked on the blog earlier this week, you'll see me talk about ice cream in a coffee can, and which is really easy to do. That was one that we did in Girl Scouts, And we've also done pudding in a cone. And so you take like an ice cream cone, if you can't have ice cream, and you fill the ice cream cone with pudding, and it's really good, oddly enough. And so that was a couple of my dessert recipes. So I'm going to open it up and see if Amber or Kristen has any ideas for, like maybe non-cook or minimal cooking. If you have a camp stove, I guess that would be okay because you can use those even when there's a burn ban. But, you can't do a campfire. So what are you going to make camping? And, this could be main dish or desserts, whatever you want to talk about.
You can't go wrong with a good old-fashioned peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
You are absolutely right. That is one of my favorites. It is really cool.
Actually, when we camped with scouts, they always had PB&J for any scout that didn't want to eat whatever that meal was.
That was a staple that we kept in the...
And the last couple of times that I've gone camping, like with Travis and Raina, I brought that because... sometimes Raina, she calls it a blah special. That's what she calls the dog. And so that's a midnight snack. She calls it peanut butter and jelly. Like, she'll tell me, I want a blah special. I know exactly what she wants, peanut butter and jelly in the middle of the night or something.
Yep, she does.
Sometimes you stay up a little bit later when you go camping and stuff. So I like to take that with as a quick fix.
Yeah, definitely. And I know... typically, like, there are lots of burn bans. I know the last time I went camping, we used a camping stove, and it was actually a pretty good stove. We cooked steaks on it.
Oh, yeah.
You get your money with those because if you think about, like, if you're doing, like, a campfire, you have to provide the wood. A lot of places don't want you picking the wood from the campsite, the natural wood. So you have to haul your wood in. So that's extra space, like the amount of space you would have.
And you have to
wood.
buy the wood there sometimes.
Sometimes,
and sometimes it's just too hot to have a campfire.
Last time Travis and I went camping, the wood that we brought with us was like just smoke. It didn't make a fire. And then we were just really struggling to cook our food, and I was like, it would have been nice if I'd had a backup stove just in case, because I mean, if it rains, sometimes you can't have a
and we have had that on our Girl Scout
and then you're like, man, what do you eat? Dinner, salad, or something,
right?
That's when those PBJs come in handy.
Well, go ahead, Amber.
Oh no, I was just looking on the websites earlier when we were thinking about doing this podcast, and there are definitely some make-ahead salad recipes that you can do, or put everything individually and then toss them together really quick and easy.
Oh yeah, one of the things we used to do with Girl Scouts a lot was we always had a taco salad day. So if you have that, you can, you might not want to have cold hamburger meat, but you could do chicken. If you did like a chicken taco salad or a chicken salad or something like that.
Use the already cooked chicken in the bag.
Use the already cooked chicken, and then put that in a, on a salad and do that, and it's really good. Sometimes, just a simple thing like cooking something ahead of time makes it, even with like the taco meat, you could cook it ahead of time if you had the beef and reheat it on a stove. Like if you had a boiling bag, which is one of the things my husband does a lot. He does Ziploc baggy omelets for breakfast when he camps a lot. And you take the freezer, it has to be the freezer bag, not the regular Ziploc bag. And I would not trust an off-brand because I don't know if they would melt or not. But you crack your egg in it and put your ingredients in it and use it, just drop it into boiling hot water and it cooks the egg. You could also heat other things up that way, like your taco meat or anything that you had cooked ahead of time. So that's another one that you can do without a campfire. And of course, sandwiches are always an option.
Yeah. I usually try to do the sandwiches for like the daytime because it's kind of hot and you don't want to cook anything. So we'll do sandwiches. And I was thinking that making the sandwiches ahead of time, just keeping that in mind. Because usually, like, I'll make our sandwiches and we'll go fishing for lunch and take our lunch with us. So I'll make our sandwiches while we're making breakfast. I'll just kind of make both meals. Like, one time we did chicken salad. So I made the chicken salad while we were making our breakfast burritos that day. And so it was ready to go for lunch. And I thought, if you didn't want to waste the gas on your little stove to boil eggs, you could pre-boil your eggs.
Oh, absolutely.
And keep them cold in the cooler, and you could make egg salad too.
Oh, yeah. Those would be really good.
As a sandwich, like for lunch. Or you could use them to make like a Cobb salad or something too.
Well, I know when I was taking more advanced training in Girl Scouts, some of the more advanced camping trainings, we had a challenge of what they call a matchbox lunch. So you would use the large-sized matchbox, and your lunch could consist of whatever you could fit into the little matchbox, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking, you could put a little can of tuna in there. You could put jerky and bricks of cheese, and just different things like that in there. And that's, there's you a little lunch where you don't have to cook.
Yeah.
So
Charcuterie.
any kind of charcuterie. My husband and I have gone on little day hikes, and that's what we brought. An apple, some cheese, some summer sausage. There's a perfect lunch right there.
Grown-up Lunchables.
Yes. And yeah, I like that, grown-up Lunchables. We've also done things in Girl Scouts like a solar oven. So you take a box, like a cardboard box, and you wrap it all in tinfoil, and then you use a window pane as to collect the sun, and the sun going through the glass heats up the inside of the box, and you can actually bake food inside that box with that window pane. And that's a great way to cook without a fire.
Yeah, I guess in camping that would be kind of weird to take a window pane with you, but if you were...
But we did it. I don't know if you remember. We did do that.
Because we took like a giant vehicle full of girls. And...
Well, this is true. Yes.
But if you were backpacking, you're not going to carry around
the whole point of that camp out was to try all the different ways of
methods.
Camping.
They actually have a really
food.
cool solar cooking device that we can link on the blog, and it's really interesting. It's like this long metal, it's elongated, but it kind of looks like a hot dog bun. And there's what looks like a rolling pin kind of thing that goes inside of it, and you fill it with the food, and they're both like metal, and it's a solar cooking device that I guess heats up.
Interesting.
I was really surprised at that because I was looking at, different things because I'm so used to doing campfires. I'm so traditional in that. Like, I get really bummed out when there's a band burn just because I like to have the fire
burn.
Yeah, a band burn. A burn ban. Because I just like having the campfire. I like sitting around the fire itself. One of the times that we went camping with Travis's dad and the Cub Scouts, they told all the families, it was like a family camp out, but it was just all the families free for all. Like, you all did your own meals separately. And Travis's dad really does like glamping really well without a camper. He managed to have this whole kitchen set up, and that's really what he did. He just kind of stayed at the campsite, and they had everything. I mean, they brought for breakfast, instead of like, doing a campfire and trying to put a cast iron skillet on the fire and making pancakes there, they brought the electric griddle, and that was going to be one of my secrets. So if there's a burn ban and you don't have one of these fancy like cooking stoves. I mean, there's so many. There's all these different like fuel stoves, or if you're afraid to cook chicken on a window pane, don't do that without doing the research, because chicken does have to get to a certain temperature. I will say
we did do a cake.
It wasn't chicken. Yeah,
it was not chicken.
So, but
yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like cooking, with a magnifying glass, if you think about it.
Yeah, okay.
But if you still want to have, the capability of cooking, my secret is when you go camping, a lot of campsites have tent camping and RV camping, and they will let you
electric
put
and water
a tent. Yeah, they will let you put a tent in the grass in the RV parking spots. So, and then you have plenty of room to park your car. If you have to take 2 cars, for a big family, it's perfect. There's lots of space to park. And then you have water and electric hookup. And this is what Travis's dad did. We all had the RV parking spots, and he set up a little awning so that he had covered cooking area just in case it rained, and he had a table set up, and they brought a Keurig, and they brought the little griddle to make pancakes. Well,
you could bring
the electric griddle. They had a couple of electric griddles, and they ended up, everyone was a little bit, it was very disorganized that year as far as like people didn't know that they were supposed to bring their own food. So everyone was just kind of looking around like, what are we eating on this camp out? And Terry, being the planner that he is, he had a feeling that was going to happen. And so he brought pancakes and sausage for everybody. And he was over there, and they were making pancakes, and they had the space to do it, and they had the supplies, and they made a fantastic little kitchen. He had a little hand washing station. So you don't have to go out and like buy camping supplies if you have those things at home. If you have electric hookup, just whenever you're planning your camping site, see if they have electric available. And, you don't have to make it so complicated. Another really cool one that I remember that we did growing up, and it's a little bit harder now because coffee comes in a plastic container, but when I was growing up, coffee came in a metal container. You could probably use like the giant cans that you get green beans and stuff in at the grocery store.
You'd have to figure out a way to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with this because I mentioned it already. But
yeah, we would put the little what is that called? That little liquid fuel under there and make like pancakes.
Oh,
not ice cream. I'm not talking about the ice cream. I'm talking about used
a buddy burner.
Yeah,
a buddy burner. So you take a well, the start of it is your fuel source, which you could use a sterno can, but we taught the girls how to make a buddy burner, which you take a large tuna can and, eat the tuna out of it or whatever, and you roll up some cardboard in a spiral, fill it up with as much cardboard as you can get in there, and then fill it with melted paraffin wax. And if you light that cardboard on fire, it makes like a little sterno type burner, and so you can cook.
The wax keeps
the wax is it's
cardboard
like
from burning up right away.
Yes.
It makes a candle.
Yes, it makes a candle basically, and so that's a great thing. And you can we used the larger coffee cans, but yes, you're right. The big gallon size or industrial size vegetable, green bean cans or whatever, you could use that as the stove part of it. So you cut chunks out of the side of it so that air can get up into that, and you put it over the top of the
flame.
The flame, yeah, and it's a little stove.
Yeah, and I think we cooked pancakes directly on the
Yes,
metal.
we did. But you can also put a pan on it.
But you can, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That's a very cheap way to make a stove.
Well, and another thing I was going to say about making stoves, my husband has one of those big fish fryer things. It's like a butane tank that has like a flame on it, and you put your big shrimp boil or fish fry bucket or fry your turkey or whatever. That surface, if you take the little bucket that you're frying in off of there, it's just a stove. It's like a gas stove. So you can put a skillet on that. You can, put a big pot on top of that and cook in that. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to cook. So, and it's just another kind of camp stove. Mm-hmm. Did you have something, Amber?
Well, I don't really do much camping. I want to say, probably as far as grab and go is concerned, I mentioned the sandwich thing and then the shake up salad that you put all together in a container. I try to make things like that.
No cook.
No cook.
So what is what's something you would like to eat if you were to go camping that was a cook food? I bet you Cindy could think of a way to make it without a campfire.
Maybe, yeah.
I was thinking something not complicated, but nachos.
Ooh. Nachos.
So you need to melt the cheese on the top. Ooh, yeah. What about a torch?
A blowtorch?
Yeah. Oh, well, that works.
It depends on the weather, but if it's hot enough,
grilled cheese with a blowtorch too.
Well, you can make grilled cheese on the dashboard of your car. You wrap it in foil and put it on the dash of your car.
If it's that hot outside, I'm not camping.
Right, I know, but
if it's your
car,
outside,
your car gets a lot hotter than
that.
But cheese. Well, you could buy just the cheese dip.
Well, y'all are talking about melting on the hood of the car. Just put the nacho stuff together and then
set
it out in the car.
Open up the hood of the car and stick it right down in there. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't really want to eat car nachos. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, so something that doesn't involve melted.
Well, I mean,
cheese.
you could still do the nachos though, because you could do like a queso fundido in a skillet. Mm-hmm. Where you melt the cheese directly on a skillet,
on like a propane
stove.
stove. Yeah,
a propane stove, your camp stove. Yeah,
bring your own, like you said, cheese and
dip.
Next time I'm going camping, I'm bringing my quesadilla maker.
Oh gosh, no, but think about so if you have a jar of. A glass jar of queso cheese that you've bought.
Can you put that on the stove?
You could, not directly on the stove, but you can use it like a double boiler.
Oh, you could put it in a
pan of water and let that hot water warm it up.
Yes.
You could, and
like
then,
Cheese Whiz.
Yeah, and then you just pour it over your nachos. So there you go.
And then if you have a can opener, you can put all the fixings. And if you want to add meat, you could do canned chicken or...
Oh, Kristen used to have those canned chicken burritos all the time, didn't you?
Burritos?
Was that you?
Burritos?
No, that was Michelle. Was that Michelle?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where you open up the can of chicken and you make like a chicken burrito out of it? Or whatever.
Who's Michelle?
Your cousin? Palter?
I don't even know.
Okay,
never mind. It's not relevant.
Okay, I don't. But okay. I don't even know what I said. So yeah.
Yeah, you can just.
I said you did it all the time, didn't you? And then you just
no,
said,
that was
nachos.
Okay. Mimi used to make nachos with canned chicken and refried beans and white like jack cheese, and she would always do them with like Cool Ranch Doritos. So you don't have to cook any meat to make those nachos. I like to think of them as like redneck nachos or lazy nachos.
Yeah, I like to make.
But I don't know what it is about. I don't know what it is about refried beans and canned chicken and the Cool Ranch Doritos. They kind of go together. They have a flavor. They do have a taste. That's not for everybody, but
there's a refried bean dip that I used to make. Oh yeah, and you add.
Yeah, you could make that ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then just heat it up on the stove.
Yo, it doesn't even heat up. I don't even think.
Bean dip?
I think it's cold.
It could be either way.
Or the one I'm thinking of, it's like a 7-layer bean dip or something.
Oh, yes, I love that.
Yeah, and it's cold.
Oh, yeah, that one is cold. Oh, I used to make that all the time, and you can definitely make that ahead of time.
Yeah.
There's another one that I like to make on the stove. It's refried beans and cream cheese and like regular cheddar cheese or whatever kind of cheese you have, and then put like some hot sauce in it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you could just heat that all up together in a skillet.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Make a dip.
Well, and that's what I was thinking. You know, not even like a dip. I mean, you could just dish it up on your plate over a pile of chips. You know, yeah.
Instead of like melting nachos, because you can't take a microwave with you. They actually make a camping microwave. They do make a camping microwave as well.
Oh wow! Okay,
yes.
I mean, if
that's,
you have like
that's beyond the beyond. That is glamping.
I mean, yeah,
it's really small.
If
it's
you're using a plug, I feel like it's glamping.
It's really small.
Well, I do go to campsites with a plug because I plug in my CPAP sometimes. So,
well, I mean, yeah.
But yes, but we recently, I say recently, last spring we camped with a friend of ours, and she threatened to bring her Keurig. And I died laughing because I'm like, really? Camping? My husband, on the other hand, is a backpacker, an avid backpacker, and he makes fun of me for bringing my electric toothbrush. So, I mean, you know, really? It's battery operated.
See, like the last time, but that was with the fire, like but you could do it over the stove too. Get a percolator, camping percolator, make coffee that way.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, they actually make these. I'm trying to remember what they're called. I bought one for my husband for his birthday or something a while back, and it's like a little heater, and it just heats hot water, and you know, like it will heat hot water like almost instantly. And I will link that on there too.
Really cool.
It's a really cool little stove. But he has like little backpacking stoves and stuff too. And you can use those even in a burn ban. So you know, there's so many things that you can do, and anything that you can cook on top of a stove, you can cook when you go camping. And my husband is absolute proof of that, because he cooks everything camping. He knows how to do it all. He makes Thai food. He's got a big, when they go with the Boy Scouts, he's got this giant wok that he bought, or I guess the Boy Scouts own it, maybe, I don't know. But they put that giant wok on that butane burner that you put your shrimp boil on, and they make this huge stir fry out when they're camping. And so, you know, anything that you can cook at home, you can cook camping. You don't have to have a campfire. There's a way to do it if you just think hard enough. So, do y'all have anything else to add to that at all? Or,
I would just say, you know, if you're new to the topic and it all just kind of seems overwhelming, or, you know, having fire and a camp out is a deterrent to going camping, or just a hassle of food, I recommend, you know, just kind of Googling camping cooking methods versus recipes, because recipes don't really explain like the method very well, and you have to like really dig to find certain ones that meet the requirement. So look up cooking methods, and then you'll find recipes that you can cook with that method.
Yes.
And there's so many different tools out there for burners that you can acquire, and there's lots of different fuels. Like there's wood fuels, solid state fuels, liquid fuels, gas fuels, and then those are just like the little stoves even. And then there's bigger stoves, like larger wood stoves, and there's things that are like vacuum crock pots, and then there's also one that's like called a can cooker, that's like a pressure cooker that you can put on a campfire or on a stove. And those are all really neat ways to prepare the foods that might be more like your home comfort foods, so that you can go camping but still have the fun of home, or the flavors of
those
home.
boiling bags, like I said, you could do them in those Ziplocs, the freezer Ziplocs. Or you can also do them in the Seal-A-Meal, food saver bags, the ones that are sealed up, vacuum sealed. Those also work really well for reheating already cooked food, or for cooking raw food if you have the sealer, or if you have it sealed up beforehand or whatever. And they make Ziploc bags as well. So, that have the zipper, so you could take those with you. And, like I said, anything that you can cook, you can find a way to cook it when you're not camping. But when you do go camping, do be sure to check the burn situations before you go camping. Please do not light a fire if there is a burn ban, and make sure that you put your fire out properly. Don't leave any fires burning unattended,
or burn trashes in your fires.
Yes, because that can cause a forest fire, and we don't want to do that. So, anything else, guys?
No, I'm pretty good.
I'm excited to go camping now, and I think Amber needs to go camping.
She does. We do. We need another we need another girls' camping trip.
We'll have fun.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it for this week. And next week we have, I believe Amber is our next hostess, and we are talking about
palmistry. So the different things, palmistry is a part of divination. So predicting things about your life using your hands and the lines of your hands.
Cool. I look forward to that one.
I hope you have a lot to say, because I know nothing.
But she will talk the most.
Oh, just kidding. I do know. Yes, I do.
That is true. You
know.
Talk to the hand.
I've told y'all
Read between the lines.
Oh, yeah.
Read the hand. Read the hand.
Well, you know that my report cards in school always said talks too much. So, hey, y'all are the ones that hired me. All right. We want to give out a special thanks to Red Door Studios and Creative Audio Tech, and especially to our listeners. Thank you for joining us. This would not work without having you guys listen. So you give us a reason to keep talking about things, and we really like that, because we want to keep talking. And we will be back next week with palmistry, and bye.
Bye.
Bye.